Hello. Today I'm going to talk about the difference between socialism, extreme socialism, communism, and capitalism. This is going to be, I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible because my videos have been running too long on YouTube, so it might be a couple of items I might miss. But let's say the advantage and disadvantage of such and the history-based facts. Okay, socialism, we do need social reform in this country. But capitalism has produced this, a cell phone. Socialist or communist people would not want to invest hundreds of millions of dollars. No business person under that would invest that kind of money because they're not going to get the financial reward and the glory and the recognition that they do in the capitalist society. Number one. Number two, capitalism sets up banking things and stuff like that where people could borrow money and get money back on interest. Number three, capitalism has produced some of the highest standards of living even for the poor. And capitalism with American style government, you could do whatever you want. Yes, even crime. You could become a homeless on the street. Nobody's going to stop you. I've been in 58 countries. They will stop you even in the free countries. Maybe not as much as some countries are in 20, 30 years ago. They were more free. I don't want to say liberal because I don't want to use that term. They were more freedom-based where you could do basically you want to be homeless. Nowadays, you can't do that in a lot of countries, only in America. Now, we do need social reform, like on the corporations, how they should be taxed, but nothing like they would do in Sweden. Because first of all, we got a big debt in this country. Our medical thing is like trillions of dollars. Our school payback $1 trillion. And to feed 400 million people, even at $1 a meal, 3 meals a day, will be $1.2 billion. The rich will be, without even counting the baby formulas, will be eradicated. Most of the rich money is in the Rothschilds. They want to see us fail. Without a doubt. They will buy our country at pennies on the dollar. On top of that, extreme when the socialists can't get what they want and the money is not there, then, and especially in the communists, they start becoming a dictatorship because people start rebelling. Just like Lech Walesa with Poland, he had to rebel because there was no food. What's the point of living if you got no food? Communism has cost people a lot of millions of dollars, and it gave a few the crust of power. Now, if you say you're going to get all the free schooling that you want, you got to first of all be a bona fide communist, pledge allegiance to that thing. They'll be watching you day and night, and you would take a test. Say there's 50 openings for electronic technician. You have 500 applicants. Out of those 500 applicants, only 50 will get it. And also depending on your connection with the Communist Party and with leaders in the community, communist leaders, and you have the best mark. If you didn't pass in this Russian system, as things got tighter and tighter, you won't given a chance again. Your dream is gone. Here in America, under our capitalist system, we have freedom of choice. You have freedom of choice. You recognize how important that is. Okay? Now, also, they have food lines. You think you're going to get burgers and steaks in the communist system or socialist system? Everything's controlled by the government. You're going to get this much meat, maybe a few ounces. You have to wait in line for toilet paper. We don't produce anything. We buy things. We import more. That's one of the biggest reasons we're in debt. You have to fix that first. You have to cut out a lot of corners before you do that. You have to have businesses that you let run with limited government thing like they do in China, which is a good idea, and they reward them and they pay less taxes than they used to pay. Okay, you want to raise the tax on some corporation, 0.5%, 1%, 2%. Yeah, that'll be couple $100 million. That's good. I agree with that. Okay, but when you have a rampant, where you're going to say we're going to tax 50%, 40%, 30%, that ain't going to work. Yeah, well, it's back in World War I, World War II. No, today's a different time. Everything's much more expensive. And there has to be social reform and tax reform, real tax reform. And you can't have a president there controlling the taxes because most of them are bought off. Okay? And most of them have special interests that propelled them, that gave them money. Why would I use my money when I use somebody else's? But that comes with a catch. That's why in non-profit business, in the articles, they keep on repeating that you cannot support a political candidate. But under the table, they do. Unfortunately, most of them. I'm going to form one where I'm not, because I don't need hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm 62. I would probably survive comfortably the rest of my life on $500,000, $2 million. But I'm not going to sell my soul for it. That's the most important thing you got. But we got corruption on all levels. It begins with you, then the people you associate, your family, and then the government. But unfortunately, some of the decisions they're making is crazy. And the so-called socialists and communist leading people that got in government now, that empower the majority, they were saying to immigrants, oh, we'll let you all in. But now they want to make DACA, the dreamers thing I call it, policy, DACA, illegal. They want to defund the cops. Can you imagine defund the cops? Look at what's happening now in New York City. Can you imagine if you defund them? No, you got to change the selection system. You got to change the punishment. You got the internal affairs. Most of them are ex-cops, so they have sympathies. You can't, it's too close. You got to have some agency that's much more remote. Can you imagine also not having planes like some of the Social Democrats have and having a big train system? How is a grandmother that's old, that don't have a car, going to get to the train? How are you going to, all the fruit and meat that you produce, how are you going to bring it to the train? Yes, both our presidents, the ex-one and the one present, Trump and Biden, suck at trade. They suck. One's too soft, one's too hard. And then Corona maybe came out of that, but there's no proof of that. But let's assume it did for a minute. Why didn't Trump say to the Chinese minister, look, you're charging a lot of money for our pharmaceuticals, but you don't have enough food to feed your people? You know, why can't we have a trade? I send my best experts over there that will show you how to beef up your beef and your cattle and everything else in your vegetables. And in exchange, we'll make a legal contract, worldwide contract, in front of the UN, and we'll make a contract that you lower the prices on the drugs and everything you sell to us. You know, instead of coming out yelling and screaming, all that's going to do is make somebody mad. There is a time when you have, like, say, a law that they passed, and I'm not going to only blame the Democrats. I'm sure there were some Republicans in there and some moderates and conservatives, that after a woman gets buried, if she says she's crazy or something, they could kill the baby. That's something to scream about. That's outright murder. I don't care what you put. That's murder. Okay? But I know some of the reasons behind that, and I'm not at liberty to say, and I'm not going to say. That's for you outside to find out. I already know. But if I say it, I might get killed. Okay? But anyway, this is what you young people want to bring in with the extreme socialism and communism. You want to take away your freedom of choice. More power to you. I'm already 62. Hopefully I have 10 years left, 20 years left before they bring in this system of government around the world. You got to do your research, people. One word is a code word for another word. Remember that. Not everything is what they say or what it seems. Okay? And you got to use common sense. Socialism, social reform will work. Tax reform. And teaching people about natural herbs and supplements. If you do that, and you give rewards to people and your businesses and government for doing more healthier practices and getting back to basics. For example, everybody worries about Corona. I doubled my intake of onion, garlic, and ginger. Those are the main important, and green tea, and some other herbs, echinacea, golden seal, but that's another lecture. So, anyway, my name is Patrick. My address is ultraviolet, like the radiation from the sun, ultraviolet, the number 333-789 at gmail.com. Okay? So that's ultraviolet 333-789 at gmail.com if you want to comment. Okay? So that's it.